what is the reason for everyone to be favoring Manny Pac-Man Pacquiao over Keith one-time Thurman? Is it past accomplishments, or is it the fact that Keith Thurman has been inactive and it's a case of out of sight, out of mind? Stay tuned, coming up next.
Hey, this is Cassie, and you're watching Blue Blood Sports TV.
Shout out to Blue Blood Sports TV.
You're watching Blue Blood Sports TV.
Shout outs to Blue Blood Sports TV.
You're watching Blue Blood Sports TV. Hola, habla Cindy, está viendo Deportes TV.
What's good, YouTube? It's your boy, Blue Blood Sports TV, back at y'all with another one. So I wanted to talk about something that was abundantly interesting to me. This was very, very interesting to me. There's a lot of people I'm seeing, a lot of boxing pundits, a lot of boxing minds, a lot of current boxers, past boxers, legends of the sport, are picking Manny Pac-Man Pacquiao to beat Keith Thurman, to beat Keith one-time Thurman, who's an undefeated, former unified welterweight champion, right? The only reason he's not unified is he lost the WBC due to inactivity and injury, right? But he was the WBC and WBA champion. With that said, we're seeing a lot of people picking Manny Pacquiao. Is that due to Manny Pacquiao's past accomplishments? Is it due to what these guys actually see what's taking place in the ring currently? I think it's the latter. Manny Pacquiao against Adrian Broner didn't look like the Manny Pacquiao of old. Manny Pacquiao versus Lucas Matisse didn't look like Manny Pacquiao that fought Miguel Cotto. This is not the same Manny Pac-Man Pacquiao, right? I think it's some of out of sight, out of mind with Keith one-time Thurman as well. Keith Thurman has been inactive, fighting once a year and things of that nature, and just not being active. You know, and then he kind of disappeared off the boxing scene for quite some time. And with that said, it is a case of out of sight, out of mind. Then the last time we did see Keith Thurman was a fight against we just recently seen Keith Thurman have a fight. Excuse me, I got a little sidetracked. But as of late, we just recently seen Keith Thurman back in the ring. And he didn't look that great against Josito Lopez, right? And so it's a clear case of out of sight, out of mind. Before we saw Keith Thurman against Josito Lopez, Keith Thurman hadn't fought in almost 2 years. His last fight was against Danny Garcia, and that was for the WBC belt, right? So he fought one time in 2016. He fought one time in 2017. So it's a case of inactivity. And like I stated, it's a case of out of sight, out of mind. And not to mention, in the 7th round against Josito Lopez, Keith Thurman looked very, very vulnerable. He marked it off as he chalked it up to ring rust, you know, being out of the ring for almost 2 years. Keith Thurman, we expected more of Keith Thurman due to the fact that we understand that Keith Thurman is a student of the game of the sport of boxing. So we expected Keith Thurman to look like Keith Thurman when he came back. But Keith Thurman said that he had to have a camp to lose weight. He had to focus on losing weight and things of that nature. So Keith Thurman just didn't look like himself. He definitely looked like he fatigued later on in the fight, you know, and I think that, you know, Josito Lopez nearly stopped him in the 7th round. And that plays a big part in people's mind. The last time you seen Keith Thurman was 2 years ago versus Danny Garcia. And he coasted in the second half of that fight, and the fight looked like he could have stopped Danny Garcia. That was back in 2017. Then we didn't see Keith Thurman until 2019 and against Josito Lopez, and he didn't look good against Josito Lopez, right? So with that said, you know, I think it's a case of out of sight, out of mind. But Manny Pacquiao didn't look like Manny Pacquiao old against Adrian Broner. Adrian Broner just chose not to let his hands go. It was a case of inactivity for Adrian Broner, which saw Adrian Broner lose that fight against Manny Pacquiao, but he definitely had opportunities. There was definitely chances for Adrian Broner to be successful and win that fight, but Adrian Broner just chose not to let his hands go, right? So with that said, Adrian Broner lost the fight. Lucas Matisse looked like he did everything but quit in the fight against Manny Pacquiao, and Manny Pacquiao got a stoppage victory, and people were saying, oh, that's Manny Pacquiao. Manny Pacquiao's back. He got a knockout victory. Lucas Matisse all but quit in that fight. Lucas Matisse wasn't putting up much of a fight. Lucas Matisse looked like he was just there to cash a check, point blank and period. There's no other way to slice it, no other way to say it. You know, got to call a spade a spade. You know, so Lucas Matisse definitely looked like he was there, you know, to roll over, right? And we saw Lucas Matisse get stopped previously in his career. Lucas Matisse just hadn't looked himself in quite some time. But people were raving and saying that Manny Pacquiao was back, Manny Pacquiao got a knockout, things of that nature, right? And so, you know, people are going to take it and run with it because of Manny Pacquiao's past accomplishments and the fact that he's a legend. So people are going to take it and run with it, you know, and that's the case, I think, in this situation with Keith Thurman and Manny Pacquiao. I think that styles make fights. Keith Thurman has a strong right hand. Keith Thurman has a high ring IQ. Keith Thurman has a great jab. Those things offset Manny Pacquiao and what Manny Pacquiao does, especially at an advanced age. Manny Pacquiao will be 41 years old by the time this fight takes place. Keith Thurman is very fast, very powerful, has a high ring IQ. You know, don't let the fight with Josito Lopez fool you, right? That's fool's gold. I think Keith Thurman is going to win this fight. I think that Manny Pacquiao, the power of Keith Thurman is going to come into play. I think Keith Thurman is accurate at times, right? We've seen him drop Josito Lopez in that fight as well. Let's not forget that. I think a straight right is the kryptonite to a southpaw, as the straight left is the kryptonite to an orthodox fighter. But I think Keith Thurman has an educated straight right punch, and I think that's going to come into play. Keith Thurman also has a beautiful left hook. So I think that I think those things are going to offset everything Manny Pacquiao does. A lot of people like to cite the reason they pick Keith Thurman is Keith Thurman has trouble when people go to his body. The thing is, Manny Pacquiao is not much of a body puncher. Let's not get it twisted. Manny Pacquiao is not some hellacious body puncher. That's just not who Manny Pacquiao is. He's not that at all. You know, he's a combination puncher. He's a very active guy, you know, in the ring. You know, he lets his hands go. But that, you know, could cause Manny Pacquiao sometimes, cause for pause, is a guy with a nice straight and an educated jab. So, you know, let's see. Sometimes you see Manny Pacquiao in the ring and he's hesitant, right? He's not so active when you counter him. He's susceptible to being countered. I think Keith Thurman will be able to counter him. I think Keith Thurman's youth, his length, his speed, his ring IQ is going to come into play. And I think that Keith Thurman is going to win this fight. I think that people are going off of Manny Pacquiao's past accomplishments, and it's a factor of that, and you know, it's a factor of that and the fact that Keith Thurman has inactivity, and it was a case of out of sight, out of mind. And then the last time you seen Keith Thurman was against Josito Lopez. He nearly got stopped in the 7th round, and he wasn't that impressive. So you put that all together, bottle it all up, and you get people picking Manny Pacquiao. But I beg to differ. I think Keith Thurman is going to win this fight. But drop a comment in the comment section. Let me know what y'all think. Y'all already know what it is. It's your boy Blue Blood Sports TV. Hate, like, comment, and subscribe. You haven't subscribed? Hit the subscribe button, hit the like button, hit the bell icon to get all the new notifications. Follow me on Instagram at Blue Blood Sports TV, all one word. Y'all already know what it is. Shouts out to the entire LDBC. Shouts out to New Media. Shouts out to Black Media Law. Make sure you like and share these videos. That's all I got for y'all. Peace.
Blue Blood Sport TV, baby, from the